Welcome to Success on Your Terms, the podcast where we challenge the conventional, break free from the noise, and redefine what success really means for you. I'm your host, Natalie Potts, and in each episode, we're diving into unfiltered perspectives on business and life because success isn't one size fits all. We'll explore how entrepreneurs are thinking differently, taking bold actions, and creating their own rules. Get ready to rethink how you approach growth, strategy, and the true meaning of success. It's time to stop following the crowd and start building your business your way. Lennie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank
I'm
you for having
delighted to
me.
have you on. You're welcome. I am going to be very, very challenging, very direct, make you really uncomfortable.
I wouldn't expect anything else.
I won't. I may do at points. I won't ask for permission like I usually do because we know each other so well. I think you're one of my longest serving clients
I
ever.
think so, yeah. Yeah, I've
Which
seen
is
you
incredible.
evolve and it's been really good actually. It's been really great working with you
But
for so long.
likewise, I've seen you evolve, and that's what we're going to tap into today. So introduce yourself, what you do, and something completely random. I always just put people straight under it.
So obviously I'm Lennie. I've been working with you for about 3 years now, I think it is. And I started off on a coaching journey that I wanted to become a coach, but I have since changed tack after a little discussion with you, that I'm kind of wanting now to do more helping people around their social media. I've not come up with a specific title for it yet. It's not a VA, it's not a social media manager. Um, it's more helping people design their content, so a bit of video editing if they need it, designing some posts in Canva, that sort of thing. Either people who are time deficient or maybe think they don't have enough skill to do that sort of thing. Um, so it's not a VA as in I will be, scheduling all of your posts and stuff, or even creating the content. I'll be taking what you've got and putting it together so that you can essentially just chuck it on your socials and get a bit more engagement, basically.
What's the random thing?
The random thing, I'd say I like dinosaurs, but everybody knows that about me. Oh God, I don't know. Put me on the spot now.
We'll go with the dinosaurs. That's pretty freaking random in this world. I'm not
Well,
sure
I,
if
I've just literally bought some dinosaur bedding as well, so Lucy's got to put up with that on the bed. It's on
there
there
we
now.
go.
There you
We
go,
like
random.
different things. My niece loves dinosaurs and stuff. She's always been fascinated with them as a kid. Yeah. Do I like dinosaurs? I like Jurassic Park.
Well, that's all you need. That's all you need.
I do, you said about, my journey and evolving and things like yours in that as well with everything. Just you talking there in that way is like me, and I guess the essence of what we want to bring in and talk about today is around the element of courage. Yes, confidence, but probably the dig deep on that end is the belief part. And I always talk around, for me, the confidence equation is around confidence is the result, it's the end part, so it's the knowledge you have, it's the skills you have, it's you know starts with courage as a prerequisite.
Mhm.
Just go and do that thing to show yourself that, give yourself evidence that you can do it, and start stacking up that belief and changing your, like, we can change beliefs. So I
Yeah.
always say, when a little confidence equation I have is like, so the courage equals, it's like the start part, then it's like your knowledge, your skills, and then plus belief. And if you don't have that belief, go and find somebody that has that in you to instill that. And I saw someone share that, I follow a lot of those, like people like Michael Jordan's, Kobe Bryant's from years ago and things. A lot of their motivational, hard-hitting fitness talk. But I like it. And one of them said part about, I think it was Kobe, though, he said, like, like, go and get your, like, don't bet on the belief of others. But I do think sometimes, especially when we're starting out on things, it's okay to have that. The
Yeah.
same as I sometimes say, it's okay to sometimes say to somebody, can you just validate them on the right path with this? Because if they're the right people and they've got the best interest in you at heart, and they are going to still challenge you and, not do it for you, then why not just have a bit of that? If it gets you on a part of getting it done and doing the work and moving you forward, that's
Yeah,
all.
definitely. I mean, that's everything pretty much what you just said is what I've managed to get from working with you.
Yeah,
I mean, you think 3 years ago, I think one of the first calls that we had was, could you help me write a Facebook post?
yeah,
Because I just was not confident in myself at all of like what to put, what would get people reading it, engaging with it. Um, and now when I look back, I'm like, seriously, we we spent, an hour coaching call putting together a Facebook post that I could put out. That's how bad I was with thinking that I could do something.
Well, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but look at me now. I mean, I'm putting some reels on, I'm doing all sorts of different posts. I've started offering doing that for other people as well. So I'm confident enough in myself that I can offer that to other people.
Mm.
Um, and it's just made such a world of difference. And just changing, like you say, the self-belief of I was very much like, why would anyone want me? What's so special about me? I was quite negative about myself. And again, working with you and again, taking that kind of that courage bit and just doing it and then realizing actually, do you know what? There's not really as many negative consequences as I thought.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Just do it. You're never going to know if you don't try. Nothing's ever going to change if you don't change it yourself.
I'm fascinated by behavior of people, and my business is the stuff like helping make more money, messaging, everything like that. But the stuff that fascinates me behind the scenes and things is, what makes people tick, the psychology of why people buy this, like the behavioral change. People don't like change, but like it's so fascinating to understand, especially with things like a lot of sales that so much 80% is emotional, and it's around, I think the biggest reason people don't invest in their business is because they don't believe they can achieve a result.
Mhm,
And it's about them, not about me per se or you per se. It's that they're so worried about, will it work, and it has to work, and the certainty and the fear of failure, the fear of judgment that then comes from that lack of belief.
mhm,
And I think judgment and belief are therefore then the biggest things we need to really hone in on when we're talking around one ourselves, but also looking at our clientele, right? And our customers of where are they with that? What are the things, like we talk a lot about symptoms, don't we? Of
mhm.
beyond the problem somebody has, like what does that mean to them? And what do people really want? People don't wake up saying, I want to be more confident. They they want the result of what the confidence brings them. They
Yeah,
want that they can go, like you just say, to post on social media and not get someone troll them, to post on social media and actually some get into reach and engagement, to then get out, get people interested in what they do so they can help people because people want to help people
yeah.
genuinely.
And I
Um,
was just off the back of that as well. The confidence that if, and let's face it, there's always going to be people out there that don't agree with what you're doing. So it's the
sure.
confidence in yourself that even if you do get that, to know what you're doing is the right thing. It is worth something to somebody, like
Yeah.
you are worth something to somebody. And I
Yeah.
think one of the things that you said quite early on when we started working together has always stuck with me. Um, Whenever I've been a bit like, oh, I don't know if I should do it or not. I think one of the things you said to me, and I'm probably paraphrasing, but it's basically, it would be a disservice for you not to give that to other people because they need it. So it's not about me, it's about them, like you say.
Yeah, and so many people make, content on social media about them and they're not connecting to the real stuff that is about other people. And the reality is we're quite selfish. We always think of ourselves, and that's just again it's default behavior. Um, but also I come back to quite a lot right now. I guess with the economy up in the air, uncertainty, business is hard. That's a reality. I
Yeah.
think I'm not going to be that person that's like, yeah, I'll never do it for you, or because I won't. And saying it's easy because it's not. There is no magic wand, there's no silver bullet, there's no I'm not the fairy godmother, but as much as I'd love to be in some
We'd
like
all love you to be as well.
it's not reality, it's not. And I've seen that. But there's, like when you switch it up, what do I love? I love business. I love the challenge. I love the, like solving problems is fun. Like that's what business is, problem after problem, and helping people achieve something they didn't think was within their potential. And it absolutely is. And that's probably come a lot from leading people for years and that professional corporate side. And again, just seeing how people work and how to get the best out of people. That was always a thing that we had to do as as a leader. That was your job. It wasn't to get the stuff done as such. It's like, how do you grow something and take people with you on the way and lead by example? And as business owners, we are all leaders. Um, But it's important, like you say, around, and I know another thing I've said is like you will often call me out on it is done is better than perfect, which is like the Sheryl Sandberg stuff.
Yeah, don't worry,
It's
I won't do my impersonation on here.
you did a very good one. But it is that part on like I don't work with people that are brand new out of uni. Right. I work with
Mhm.
people who have lived experience in something. Therefore, there's something that they can make money from. They've got an idea, and they can help people because they're going to have expertise in something, whatever that is, more than others. Now, if you don't have expertise in something and you really want to do it, go and get that skill. Back to the confidence part. What is the skill gap that you need? So if I suddenly wanted to go, let's just think, I don't know, something random. Um,
Climb Mount Everest.
yeah, climb Mount Everest. Okay, yeah, I'd have to get what's the skills needed. I'd have to go and learn how to do that, wouldn't I? I couldn't teach
Mhm.
somebody and make money of how to climb Mount Everest without knowing what's involved. I have to
Mhm.
go and do that part. And this is the part for lots of people is they want to skip that part and, just make more money from things because they love it. But yes, I get the purpose and the passion part, but like dig deeper than that. Like what's the gaps and fill those gaps, plug those gaps, which is a lot of the strategy side. What talking back to your journey, so what do you think, like on reflection over the years, and we always think like we look back in hindsight, we'd like to often do things quicker. What are some of the challenges that you faced and how have you worked to overcome them and what has that taught you in life?
I think probably one of the biggest challenges that I've had, and you probably got sick of me saying it, was um, being worried about what other people might think of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Um, which kind of does tie into the, look, done is better than perfect. Just do it. Get yourself out there. But there was always that barrier of like, yeah, but what are people going to say? Like, what are my friends and my family going to say about going from, 20 years in retail to being, well, then it was a coach and now obviously doing the social stuff. What are they going to say? What are they going to think? And that really held me back for quite a while. Um, and then it was just as I was having the courage to kind of do some more posts and stuff, as anybody outside of my head would say, like, they're going to support you, that, they're going to be really behind you and like really pushing you to do it and be successful. I actually finally managed to get that in my head after doing some posts and having that positive feedback that I was like, oh, actually, yeah, they're not going to think I'm weird or stupid or what you're doing it for or anything like that. And that for me was probably the biggest breakthrough was changing that mindset to being like, this is for me. This is what I want to do. I want to help people. And I know people need that help.
Yeah,
And anybody who actually matters to me is going to be pushing me and supporting me.
sure.
That was probably the biggest change, I think, and the biggest challenge that I had to get over was kind of just getting out my own head, really.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part, like we said earlier about emotionally people are driven. They don't think logically enough at times. We don't.
Mhm.
And it's not just black and white. We need to navigate the grey 100%. But the reality is like I guess always what's the worst that can happen? And two, that logically, like the right people are going to support you in your journey and have your back. But it's often their fears that they're just juxtaposing onto you to make you feel that way of they're just worried for you and looking out for you and they love you in that part. And then like you just when you take it back and just have that moment of clarity, it's like the ones that then do challenge you who don't really know, like what on earth? Like why would you listen to them anyway? And like again, there's going to be so many insecurities deep rooted in them that you're never going to change. They've got to do that work. Um, and actually, do you want to be around people like that? I'm always thinking with clients, and again, come back to who do I want to work with? Like, what's the type of mindset of person I want to work with? What is, like you, like there are times I could be like, Lennie, just get on with it. But
Yeah.
I've never like the level of resilience you have in life and business. And sometimes that'll be like kind of seesaw, it'll be more in other parts and like maybe life or business. But your resilience to never give up, that attitude, that determination, I do think sometimes you downplay or underestimate how much you just have that instilled within you. And maybe some of it's that we talk a lot, especially with messaging in like putting out stuff that resonates and is relatable because people buy from people and that draws you to it. Hence why I talk about my corporate journey a lot, because if people are stuck in corporate, I'm like, I'm proving a way that you can have a business if you want a business. Let's
Yeah.
do it. You're part of in, we were both in retail. We both understood the challenges. There was nobody going, and that's just part of what I love with the mastermind, of genuine connection with people.
Hmm.
Of like, I get it. You don't have to sit there and justify it or talk to people that like, yeah, I don't really have that life. I wake up at 9 and I just chill and I meditate and whatever you want to do. Like it's like they get it. You're
Yeah.
around people that are like-minded, that are relatable, that have had maybe similar walks in life, so they both you can talk and both understand the challenges. So people essentially then going back to how they feel seen and heard and everything. There's
Hmm.
nothing wrong if you want to get up and meditate and do all those things, and it's just about finding that connection with people that are very similar each to you in life. And I think community, which you'll know as being in, well, my membership and mastermind, community is always a big element that I draw upon in terms of
Hmm.
bringing people together. And I seem to do that well in attracting people like to support one another. That there is, and again, it's back to leadership, right? Like leveling engagement, you have to lead the way of that. People don't talk if you don't set the tone. And that's why I think people underestimate memberships and things and how
Hmm.
hard they are to keep them going, not even get them started, but keep them going.
Yeah.
Um, but just the people part on understanding what do people want, what do people really need, and really giving that is so important. But
Yeah. I
that's
mean, that, I have to admit, like being in your communities, in the membership and in the mastermind, that in itself has made such a huge difference. Like you say, being around people who have got nothing but the best intentions for
yeah,
you to try and help you out and, push you along, support you, just to be able to go into that group and be like, oh, guys, even if I was having a bad day, I mean, I've suffered with depression since I was like school age. Even if I put a message in and be like, guys, I'm just feeling really rubbish today. It's a bit of a crappy day. I can't really be bothered to do anything. Um, just to have them rally around and be like, you got this, Lennie. Keep going. It's all good. We all have bad days. Don't take it out on yourself too hard and all that kind of stuff. To have those other people with the same mindset, and we might all be doing different businesses, but in some respects, we can all be in the same place at certain points as well.
yeah.
It's it just makes such a difference surrounding yourself with the right people.
It's like you have to be around people like where you want to be, where you are, and then your clients almost become where you were. They're the people like they're just maybe you're 10% ahead of them. You don't have to be masses ahead of people either. It's just
Hmm.
people come to you because you can help them with something that is not their skill and they want it solved, and or you can do it, like that's the part, or help them get there sooner. And that's why I believe every business needs a mentor, always have to
Hmm.
drive you ambition. That absolutely instilled in me from when I quit corporate. But I'm going to pick up on it. Actually, I didn't ask your permission, but I'm going to run with it. There was a few years ago you were in one of my programs, and I remember there was a really challenging, hard time you had with your life or something, and maybe you hadn't shared, and you don't have to ever, but you hadn't probably shared some of the personal stuff with them that I knew behind the scenes. If you're enjoying this episode and want to simplify your business while making it work for you on your terms, my mastermind could be exactly what you need. It's designed to help you refine your messaging, streamline your strategy, and accelerate growth, all while aligning with your vision. If you're ready to stop overcomplicating things and build a business that truly works for you, DM the word podcast across social platforms to learn more. Now, let's jump back into today's episode. And it goes back to the point of, business is all about relationships. I'm always saying that, like, build better relationships with people, spend more time with people, get to know them, understand what makes them tick and how to get the best out of them. But I remember uh, one of our other clients in the program responded quite directly to you, but probably wanting to give you more advice opposed to listen and things. And I purposely watched some of it because I wanted to see, and I think I've
Hmm.
responded to you separately as well at one point.
Yeah.
But then I wanted to see, 'cause again, like fascinated with communication things. And one, like you're both adults to own your own thing, but I wanted to see again, like just we don't have to share the ins and outs of it, but thinking back on that experience and understanding people and things, and a difference where you're around people who get you and you've built that relationship with people that don't, what difference does that make?
Oh, such a huge difference for me personally as well. As I say, having before, the self-belief issues, the self-esteem issues with the depression and everything all coming together, to have somebody that doesn't really get you.
Yeah,
I actually genuinely can't remember what was said. I remember the event. I remember like
yeah.
having that conversation and stuff, but I actually genuinely can't remember what it was about. But I just remember thinking that it was almost like they got the wrong end of the stick. Like they didn't
Yeah.
really know me. They were commenting on something that they didn't know or didn't understand. And that like really affected me like
It
quite a
was
lot.
victim mentality, wasn't it?
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that word for me is very triggering anyway, because I know I
Yeah.
have it with people in corporate when, I've led teams and I remember and I learned a lesson. I remember saying to one of my managers once, I was like, this is just really victim mindset right now. And like literally, yeah, and rightly so to a degree, there was parts. Um, I did have the relationship with her. I think there was things happening where she just wasn't in the right space to probably hear that at that time.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I think there was a lot behind the scenes of, again, like language is powerful, isn't it? And understanding people is really key. And we're not going to always get it right. And people's, again, it does come back to people's intentions are often 90% of the time, people don't set out to be
Mhm.
nasty, horrible people or to cause anyone any pain, and she never ever had that as her intention. But
No.
I think it was a lack of understanding the person, the relationship, and the stuff behind it, and to be a bit the power of empathy with that.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that she was in one of your communities to me was like, well, I know that she's not going to be meaning it
Yeah,
in a malicious
sure.
way because you don't attract those people, you don't let them
No,
into the
exactly.
community. But I mean, I've always been a massive believer. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably mentally, I wasn't in a great frame of mind anyway, obviously. Um, and I think you know me, Nat, I take things to heart that I really shouldn't.
But I think
So
to
I
learn
think it
from
was just
it.
like, it was a perfect storm of
Yeah.
stuff going on. And that was why it ended up being the way that it was. But yeah, it
Back to
wasn't.
resilience, what do you think it's taught you in terms of now moving forward? If similar was to happen, what would you do differently?
I don't think that's going to sound really negative, but like I don't listen to people as much in the sense of I don't let things get to me as much.
Yeah.
Um, if they don't necessarily get where I'm coming from, I know I've got people that do.
Yeah.
So it can, it's more of a, okay, thanks for your opinion, thanks for your views, that's cool kind of thing. Move on. Because I know there are other people that will give me the advice that I need. Even
God,
if it's
yeah.
you just saying, Lennie, get your butt in gear, come on.
It's so healthy, isn't it? Because again, when you have, and these people are out there, and that's always been my point. Like that's why I created communities because it's like I can't quite find the space where I want to be a part of it. I find it really hard to get groups that I feel a part of. I always feel a bit of an outlier. I'm in one in Canada, which I quite like because it's so remotely different to anything in the UK and the
Mm,
people and everything. And their mindset's very different over there. Um, but it's really refreshing. It's just again, it's a point of like just it's not that we don't care, but it's that letting things go that we can't control, being around the right people, but not people who just validate stuff. I've my mentors, going back to the belief part, I think there's people in my life when I look back, school, uni, workplace, own business. There's pockets of people. I didn't like all of them, actually, interestingly. One of them was okay, he was one of my managers in retail.
mm,
Um, but school was always, like I got into drama, I was always not confident. And I got into drama, I loved it because the teacher believed in me and he was a great teacher and we had fun. And then, other teachers that, like you did well because they made you feel a part of something, and you belong and everybody inclusive, again, school. And then it was, like going into retail and then doing well at something and somebody seeing something and you don't quite see in yourself saying just go for it, you can
mhm.
do it, and then you do it. It's like, oh my God, I did it because they said I could, but I didn't think I could. And wow, I've done it. But then taking
That
that
in a
kind of,
nutshell is just like the relationship that I have with you, though, I think.
yeah, it is that. It's just do it.
Mhm.
And I think that there's people around you who have different skills. I have a skill to just, and that's again, like we just all got, like I call them like, and this is what my friend Jacob and I just spoke about in a podcast a few months ago. which loads of people have come back to and said they love this podcast episode. So if you haven't listened to it, listen to it. But it's talking around like superpowers and the giver method, which is his book. And it's so powerful just because I'm kind of super confident. And I over the years with especially running a business, I'm like, well, how can I help others in that? Um, and now I've just had to almost accept a bit. It's just my superpower. I just naturally have it in abundance. I can't keep justifying it. I can't say, oh yeah, well, it's just because I'm confident, because it doesn't actually help anybody. I've broken it down with the confidence equation and the steps to take and what things to look at. But essentially, it's just one of the gifts I have. And we all have superpowers and gifts. Is going and understanding what that is for you. And I think that this is the part with just going back to understanding what people really want, like what gets the best out of them. Um, and I think that then, just seeing the taking a step by step, the belief part, the resilience in it, that's where it's really profound and it shifts. And I know there's people, mentors I have now, and I'm like, why do I stay with them? And I was like, the reason is because they believe in me. They've seen
Hmm.
something in me and they're like, just go for it. When I don't perhaps all have all of that belief instilled, I'm like, oh yeah, but what if I fail? Like, so what? We'll work through it. And again, like sometimes they do just say like you just bounce stuff back and forth in a safe space where there's a level of challenge as well. I like being challenged. And also to say things like, yeah, it's probably not cool that you did that, but look, let's work through it. And I
Yeah.
think again, that's some of the when I've had teams for years of there'd be stuff, often people got a lot of stuff wrong. Because it was just that, like look, business, especially my like line of duty as such, what I had to do was always just solve problems and shit.
Yeah.
It was always, I'd walk in, it'd be like 10 people. I think teams I used to run was like 800 people. And I'd sometimes walk in and I'd be the lead of the day or something, and you'd get like 8 people come at you, and it's like, I've just walked in.
Yeah.
I just want a coffee and to dump my stuff. And I can't walk that way because if I see that person, they're just going to be a mood hoover for the whole of my day. And that's not how I roll. But I know I need to speak to them as well. So I'll just go around this way for an hour and then I'll hit them in an hour and I've prepped my mind to talk to them.
Yeah.
But we have to like I'm around people in essence that also challenge me and say, do you know, Nat, actually, no, that probably wasn't the right way to do it, or that wasn't cool. But let's do it together. And I think that's that part of doing things together. You don't feel on your own. And it's not like these things aren't often the end of the freaking world.
Hmm.
We can overcome them. And it's when you do it with somebody else, it's so much easier to take that step forward.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, probably one of the biggest examples of that was when I did the Yorkshire Free Peaks. Um,
Yes.
it was a couple of years ago, and did the first. So I was doing it with a couple of guys from Costa who I worked with at the time. We were raising money both for the Costa Foundation and for I was raising money personally for Macmillan because of my mum having cancer. So the first peak, fine. A second peak, getting tired by that point. The third peak, we'd left Ingleborough for last, and there was at one point that as I was walking and I looked up and literally it looked like it was just like vertical, and I literally started crying, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get up there. Like I genuinely don't know how I'm going to get up there. And Lucy's parents, like they'd gone because there was three of them, so it was her mum, her dad, and her, and they each did a peak with me, and Lucy was with me on the last peak, and she was like, "Look, you've come this far, you can do it. Just keep going, just take one step at a time, like you said." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do it." I was crying for like a good 10, 15, 20 minutes because I was literally at that point, I was kind of like physically and then almost mentally broken by looking
Yeah.
at what I had left to do. But you know what? I did it. I carried on, and that was with being with Lucy and having that encouragement. I don't know how. I just managed to get over it. I think probably because I was thinking about the money that I was raising, the people that donated, you know, and I just needed to finish it. Even for myself, I was like, I can't quit. I cannot quit. I have to do it. I went home and had a bath and slept for a good long time afterwards. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's for me, that's one of my most proudest moments that to basically be like so broken. My
Yeah.
feet were killing me, my back was killing me. Like I say, mentally, I just didn't know how I was going to carry on, but I just kept trudging step by step by step, and managed to do it. I still can't believe it now when I'm
Yeah,
driving past them and
incredible.
see them every day. I just keep looking at Ingleborough and I'm like, yeah, I did you. I did you.
It is absolutely incredible achievement. I think is it Skyfell in Wales? Not Wales. Lakes?
Uh, yes, yeah, Scarfell Pike, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the like the national three peaks. So you do England, Scotland, Wales. The Yorkshire three peaks are just obviously in Yorkshire.
Is a Skyfall like the baby one?
Scafell's not part of that. It's Ingleborough, Pennygent, and Whernside.
Yeah, I mean like that. We did that and we
I was gonna
didn't
say you did Scafell, I think, didn't you?
yeah, we didn't quite get to the top, but I was like, but it's interesting, like I guess we're all built differently and we can all do different challenges and things. And it's about not again the pressure on yourself of what you don't achieve always. It's like what do you achieve? What's great as well. And um that is an incredible achievement you've done. Like people doing a marathon right now. It's a
Mhm.
massive achievement. I don't want to do it.
No,
I
I'm not a runner. I could
don't
walk, but I'm
I
not a
just
runner.
there's nothing there for me on it. But what I have done, well, I've done a fitness one, which in itself is ridiculously challenging as well and very different to get super lean and cut for a photo shoot and stuff. And I think that at the end of the day, whatever we're doing in our own way to test our resilience, to build our, like the mindset is so important and is the stuff that people really don't lean on enough and explore and also just achieving more than you think you can. I think people hold themselves back, like you just saying, like you need that other part. Like again, people believing in you, right? Like Lucy, like you can do this, just do it,
Yeah.
and making something a bigger cause than just you, like
Hmm.
doing it for your mum, the impact that has in why you do things and cracking on with it, I think is so important. And that's why I think people really underestimate. I've just got it up now on my screen, like purpose. Like I always say, my purpose is to help others create success on their terms, so have meaning in their life. And I
Hmm.
want people to feel remarkable. That's like a really strong purpose I have. I want people to feel a certain way and to feel good and to know that life means something to them. I think there's a book by Bronnie Ware, and she talks about the five regrets when you're dying.
Hmm.
And the number one regret is that you didn't live a life of true meaning to yourself.
Yeah.
Why would you
Which
want
is
that?
what I'm trying to do. Excuse me, I'm trying to do something about now and do
Yeah.
what I want to do and what I feel, not in a like, oh, well, I'm doing what I want, never mind anyone
No, no,
else, but I want to do it for me, not for anyone else. What I should be doing or what they think I should be doing. This
yeah.
is what I want to do. This is what feels good and true to me is to be
Yeah.
helping people. And it was just a case of finding out what is the best route for me to help people.
Mm. And sometimes that takes time.
Hmm. Well, shifting from retail to now being a carer has made the world of difference. Um, it's kind of like you, really. I think I was just kind of done
Yeah.
with retail, with that industry. It was just about money, 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 to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Being with a big name, it's not like I was even with an independent, same as yourself, and it was just kind of soul destroying, to be honest. So yeah, moving over to being a carer and being able to just help people, even if it's just going to the shop and buying them some groceries because they can't get out. Like,
Yeah. I think people underestimate that about again, like the part what they want to do in a year is like loads of stuff and just actually slowing it down a bit. And I always remember leaving corporate, I'd rather take, and I'm always a sentiment, I would rather take 5 years loving what I do, working hard. I love work, I love business.
mhm,
But work hard for things, but also have a bit of enjoying life as well and things and being present, but obviously not too far the other way because I think some people do it too far.
mm,
Um, but knowing I'd rather do it for 5 years than 3 years and kill myself for something and do it the right way. And that's about just being a bit more again wise and strategic about, what does that path look like for me and doing it so I enjoy it. I've never wanted to take meaning away from what I do for the
mhm,
sake of I've got to have money in. I mean, of course, I'm motivated in that way and it helps with driving a business, like want to make more money. But there's got to be more than just the money in it. You've got this is why to have success on your own terms. Like, what does success mean to you? And I was very much stuck in corporate And in hindsight, which is a beautiful thing, I do think I probably stayed maybe 2 years too long. But then there was a wrap up with COVID, and I'd taken steps to start a business and things like that. And I was doing it on the weekends, my day off, and like in the morning before hitting work at 7. Like I was in it. But there was a part where I was like, something needs to change in life, and I'm actually not happy. And that
Mm,
was the difference. And the values weren't aligned for me and what I was doing. And it was like, I'll do anything I'll make money anyway. If that means long term I get my business off the ground. If I have to go wait tables, if I have to, I've got no ego with
mm,
that. Like if I have to do um anything that pays the bills, I'll do it.
yeah,
If that means I'm working towards my longer term goal of things. But I have to do has to have some meaning, and I have to feel like I'm treated with respect. And I think that those types of, again, how we treat people and look after people, um, they're the parts we really need. Like this goes back to saying, doesn't it? People don't leave the company or the business as much. It's always a manager.
yeah,
It's how they're treated. It's how you like,
definitely.
it's how you do what you do.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably one of the most important things that my parents instilled in me, to be fair. Just treat others how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Like in the caring job, I treat all of the clients that I have, depending on age, like I would my mum, like I would my grandma, like I would a friend, I'm there to help them and look after them. I don't want to be doing anything that's going to hurt them or upset them or anything like that. I literally treat them like they're my family
Yeah.
because that's how I would want somebody to treat me.
I remember when I was leaving, wanting to leave corporate, and one of my friends, I was doing really long hours and just felt drained. And I meant, like I got to points sometimes where I just like, I think there was one time when I was signed off with burnout. I just went into work and I was just in tears, and I just couldn't even understand why I was in tears. Now I rang my best friend. She was like, you need to go home and go to a doctor, phone a doctor, and then they sign me off and stuff. And I had a lot going on in life as well, which was just
Mhm.
compounding everything. Um, and work for me is often a good outlet as well. I enjoy it. It helps me. I'm that person, like when I used to work with people and they'd have grief, and or like they'd lose maybe someone die in their life, and I'd say, like, what do you need right now? Like, just tell me, because some people need
Mhm.
work, and often people would need work because what else are you going to do? What's the alternative?
Yeah.
Like sit at home and overthink stuff like our brains do. The monkey jumps up in our brains and we just it's not that's
Yeah.
not helpful. So I used to always say to people that you know yourself better than I know you every day, all day long, but guide me in the if you want to work. If it's too much, come and say, no, it's too much, and we'll work things out. Like, and working in corporate, you used to have a bit of that flex to help people, which
Mhm.
which I always loved, and you make those decisions. But in essence, it always comes down to what, like, you need to know what you need as well, and just trust that and give that time. But I think there was definitely a part where emotionally and energetically, I was not enjoying stuff. And actually,
Mhm.
that then didn't help. And my friend said this, he goes, just be careful though, if you're trying to build the business on side working in corporate full time, that you're not energetically just drained, so then you don't put anything into the business,
Yeah.
versus when you're saying, like, if you're doing something that has more purpose, it's not always about the money and everything like that and what it does, but it's the fact that energetically you feel good about what you want to do, and then you come home, it's like, okay, I want to do this and something else. You're not just absolutely drained mentally. That is, well, I talk about the three currencies, and this is something I think Jacob and I spoke about on the podcast because he's taught me loads around this. But the currencies of money, time, and energy, and I really focus on time and energy, and then energy a lot about my sleep I get, and the difference that makes when I have more sleep. I go and train more, I eat better, I'm showing up for calls better, I ask better questions of myself and of clients, and therefore stuff happens
Yeah.
quicker. But that's got to be a big transition that you've noticed of just even, and I think we worked through this a bit, didn't I? I was like, you just need to get out there now, and we need to get you
Yeah.
somewhere that's it's the next stepping stone. It's not where we want to be, but it's just let's just meet ourselves here and then take yourself forward there. But that has to be more beneficial to you now to be where you are.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, and like you say, my energy levels are so much better because I'm not feeling drained about, oh, I've got to go into work. I enjoy going into work. The hours are better. I feel like I am at home more, even though I'm doing more or less the same amount of hours. Um, and also just generally in myself, I just feel so much better because, like you say, I feel like I'm a bit more aligned to my values and what I want to do.
Mm.
Um, and it's just having being in that better positive mindset because of having more time and more energy. it's helped build my confidence even more.
Mm.
I mean, just in these last couple of weeks, I've reached out to people and I've got a couple of clients that, hopefully my first paying clients after like so long. But I just don't feel like I would have got there if I hadn't have had the courage to be like, right, okay, I'm not happy with this job. I need to change it. Um, Part of it, I think, was just the right job came along at the right time.
Yeah.
Um, I'm
Yeah.
kind of the same as you. I'm not like all woo woo, but I do
No,
believe that things happen when they need to happen.
well, you track what you are, right? Like we
Yeah.
said earlier, like if you're going to be that negative bunny, you'll probably attract quite negative, and if you're positive, you're going to attract like you just will. It's impossible. Negative hate being around positive people, right? They don't
Hmm.
like it today because it's just a reflection onto them, so they just rather not. So it's all of that side of law of attraction. I 100% align to and that's a choice part that we make is so important. Who we want to be around, who do we want to
Hmm.
be, all those things. Coming back to the point around the whole focus of the podcast. What does success mean to you?
Um, I would say in the two aspects, so sort of business and financially, and then in the personal life. So financially, for me, it would be nice to not have to worry about any unexpected bills, if something goes wrong with the car, rather than being like, oh my God, how the hell am I going to afford that? um, to be successful enough financially that I can just deal with it and not have to worry. I'm not saying I necessarily need to have millions and squillions in the bank, but enough to be comfortable and not have to worry because for quite a lot of my life, being in retail, which is not the most well paid of industries, um, money has always been a bit of I've always had enough, but it's enough. It's not slightly more than enough.
Mm,
So personally for me, that would be a really big one. And then in my personal life, success would just be, working on my time sheet, my schedule when I want to work, not being at somebody else's beck and call, and therefore being able to do what I want when I want, being able to spend more time with my family, with my friends, going out, doing things if I want, which does tie in with the financial as well, because you know, today's day and age, you can't always do everything for free. So to have
yeah.
a little bit of extra money to be able to pay for those things. Um, I think I'm more about spending time with people and having experiences. Like a lot of people, when they say, it's your birthday coming up, what do you want? I don't want anything per se. I would rather go out, have a meal with you, or go out and do an activity with you. Like with my mum passing away at the end of January, it's just even more cemented in my mind that those
Yeah.
experiences with people is more important than, having, well, I mean, I was going to say having Lego models, but having Lego models is pretty good. Um, but yeah, it's the finances to be able to just do what I want and not have to worry about the bills coming or going or whatever.
Have you done a love languages test?
I did, and I can't actually remember what I came out as. I think it was the more like giving people things rather than taking stuff.
Yeah, mine's time.
Yeah, I'll have to do it again. I did do it, but it was a couple of years ago, and I can't remember now.
Yeah, it's interesting. It really does help with again relationships. I mean, I've done pretty much every personality profile. I do DISC, so I do that with
Mhm.
my qualifications. But they're all moments in time to a degree. You need to take yourself and just ask yourself, like, how do you feel on things? But yeah, Tom's interestingly, he's gifts, so he likes gifts. So I'm aware of that, which is cool. Whereas I'm not too fussed for gifts. I'd rather time with people. But all these things are look, they're again the personal development stuff, isn't it? Understanding more about ourselves again,
Yep.
like how to like what others need, and he needs gifts, so I'll buy him lots of gifts.
Yeah.
But it's those things that make us work, and yeah, it's important. Lennie, it's been incredible to have you on. It's been a really genuinely great conversation. So thank you for everything you've shared and inputted, and obviously been vulnerable about your mum as well. So I know that's been obviously a completely different thing for you to go through this year. But like you say, it's the mindset around even that of like, actually, this is what I want from life now,
Hmm.
and
I
take it.
think it's knowing her as well as I did as well. Like I know that she would want me to be going out there and doing my thing and
Mm,
not moping around. Like I know that without a doubt. I mean, she said. like for a funeral, we were all in bright clothes. I was in like a bright yellow t-shirt and stuff because that's what she wanted. She wanted us to celebrate a life rather than mourn a death. And I've just kind of been trying my best to like carry that on,
Yeah,
getting back into the business and getting that up off the ground and just going for it basically because I know that's what she wants. So.
love that. How can people connect with you?
If you find me on Instagram, it's probably the easiest way.
Yep.
It's at Lennie Saggers, LennieSaggers. Have to spell it because people never know how to spell it.
It's so funny you say that. So my second name is people actually call me Potts as well, which is quite funny. There's somebody that I was on a call with the other day. Oh no, it was just online actually, and it was like, "Hi Potts," and I was like, we've never met." I love it, but it's cute, and I used to get that was my name is when in corporate was like Potts, Potts, Potts. Um, I will lose that if I when I get married next if when I get married next year, which will be different. Um, but it's so funny because Tom always rips it out of me. So I'm like, Potts, Potts. Every time, because every time I go out and I do it, and he's waiting for it and he laughs. But then he'll say, like if I've not done it, they've gone, oh, is that Potts or Potts? And I've said, see, that's why I do it. Um, so I do get that.
Yeah, all the time, all the time.
Keep it simple. Cats out on a mat. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
um, thank you so much for your time.
That's all right. Thank you for having me.
If this episode gave you something to think about, helped you in any way, or just made you feel seen, do me a favour. Hit subscribe, leave a quick review, and maybe share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to dive deeper or need help, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you next time.